Hi, today we are going to go over some practical applications from chapter 10 on price discrimination. So we have chapter 10 and we are going to discuss few cases. So case 1 is going to be calculation of profit. What is my profit when I have a single monopoly price or single price monopoly? Okay, so let's see. We have quantity demanded equals 6 minus P. This is my price. Marginal cost is $1 equals average total cost. We're going to use smaller numbers so the calculations are easier. Marginal revenue equals 6 minus 2Q. So now from what we've learned so far, to find the optimal quantity and optimal price, which is P star Q star, we have to use the rule for profit maximization, which is marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So let's do this. Let's calculate my optimum price and my optimum quantity, which is really the first question of this problem. What is my optimal price and what is my optimal quantity? So now what we are going to do here in marginal revenue, we have marginal revenue is over here 6 minus 2Q. So 6 minus 2Q equals, let's see what's my marginal cost, is 1. So we just solve for Q in this case. So Q goes on the other side, 2Q equals 1 comes on the other side, 5. So here I have Q star is 5 divided by 2, which is going to be 2.5 units. Okay, so that's my Q star. Now to find my P star, we are going to substitute this Q over here. Okay, so let's do that. 2.5 my Q equals 6 minus P, and then I solve for P star. P star is going to be 6 minus 2.5, so that's going to be $3.5 per unit. So that was my first question here. What is my P star and Q star? P star came out to be $3.5 per unit, Q star 2.5 units. Now, a second question that's typical for this type of applications is how much profit I make at P star and Q star. So let's continue here. That would be question number 2. What is my profit for this case, single price monopoly? We know that profit is defined as total revenue minus total cost. So we have total revenue price times quantity minus total cost quantity times average total cost, which is cost per unit. So let's see, price. My price came out to be $3.5 times optimum quantity is 2.5. And then we have minus quantity 2.5 times average total cost. Average total cost is 1 times 1. So let's see, this one is going to be 3.5 times 2.5. That's going to be 8.75 minus this is 2.5. So I'm going to have my profit 6.25. That's my profit, so keep in mind profit for single price monopoly. Then what we are going to do, we are going to use the same setup of the problem to calculate first degree price discrimination profits, which is going to be case 2. What is my profit if I engage in first degree price discrimination. What is my profit in this case? So, for this case, we are going to use, I'm going to go on a different page here because we are not going to need to work on a graph. So just remember, on first degree price discrimination. So, and we are going to use the same setup of the problem. So the graph that we are going to use here is, that's my quantity, that's my price, and then let's find out my intercepts here. So my original, if you go back to the original problem setup, was quantity demanded was defined as 6 minus P. And if you remember from the beginning of the semester, the way we find the intercepts is equal Q and price one at a time with 0 and find where we have the intersection point. So if Q is 0, my intercepts for P is 6. And if P is 0, my intercept for if P is 0, my intercept for Q is 6. So they happen to be equal here, 6 and 6. And then what we solved on previous page, what we had P star was equal to 3.5 and Q star was equal to 2.5 units. Q is in units here, and that's in dollars for price. So let's write this on my graph here. Where is my P star was 3 over here, and my Q star 2.5. And that's the point on the demand curve over here. Where we are going to discuss in this first degree price discrimination, what happens is that you have to be able to classify consumers on their ability to pay. So if they can pay more than $3.5 per unit, then we are going to receive more on each unit. So what we are going to do, we are going to move upward on the demand curve based on our income identification of the consumers. And all this little triangle over here is going to be the consumer surplus. What can we extract extra from the consumer per each unit? It's going to add up to more revenue. So earlier in single price monopoly, we have total revenue 1. Let's see if we remember. Total revenue 1 was based on quantity times price. Quantity times price was 2.5 quantity times 3.5 price. If you go back to the previous page, my total revenue 1 was $8.75. Now what we are going to do, we are going to add from this consumer surplus. In this case, we are going to have more total revenue coming from this surplus. So we are going to have an extra revenue, total revenue 2, which is going to be the area of this triangle. What is the area of this triangle? Now, if you remember, calculation of the triangle area is going to be base. In our case, the base is this one, 2.5 times the height. The height is going to be over here. How do we calculate this area here? Well, it's going to be 6 minus 3.5 divided by 2. That's just the mathematical formula for this little triangle. So then we just do the calculations. 2.5 times 6 minus 3.5 is 2.5. So 2.5 times 2.5 is 6.25 divided by 2. So this is my extra revenue that I'm going to have extracted from consumer surplus. Now, total revenue is going to be total revenue 1 plus 2. So it's going to be 8.75 plus 3.125. So that's going to be 11.875. That's my total revenue for first degree. Let's write here first degree price discrimination. So now we have to calculate profits equals this total revenue that we just calculated, 11.875, minus total cost that actually stays the same because we didn't have any change in the cost structure. So what was my total cost earlier? Quantity 2.5 times average total cost, that was 1, so that's going to be 2 minus 2.5. So my total profit is going to be, if we do this calculation, 9.375. So you can see this profit over here is higher than the one that we had previously. If you go back on single price monopoly, which was 6.25. So now that we went through the mechanics of these two cases, I'm going to ask you to work on additional problem just to have more exercise on the subject. And the data for this new problem. So I'm going to, based on this data, quantity equals 12 minus P, P is price, price equals 12 minus Q, then we have marginal cost equals average total cost is $2 per unit, and then we have marginal revenue equals 12 minus 2Q. So what I'm going to ask you to do the calculations for 1. What is the profit for first degree, for single price monopoly first? Then 2. What is the profit for first degree price discrimination? And 3. What is the profit for second degree price discrimination, given that you have the first 3 units they sell for price $9 per unit, and then the second 2 units sell for a price of $7 per unit. So I'm going to ask you to do the calculations for each. So you have 3 cases. Case 1, single price monopoly. Case 2, first degree price discrimination. And case 3, second degree price discrimination. Just do the calculations similar to what we did previously. And when you are done, please go and check your calculations on, you have actually the final results given on the slide number 14 in the PowerPoint chapter 10. So go ahead and check your calculations, and hopefully you'll have the right results there.